today at WiP, it's a very, very special session. It's a Pride Month, as you all know, and we are in conversation with a mother and son duo. So let me tell you a small story. In a beautiful household in Noida, they share a very special bond, and that transcends all kinds of obstacles that life throws at them. Meet Seema and Rishab Nanda. Seema is a compassionate mother and a very dear friend who cherishes a close relationship with her son, who's an amazingly kind and vibrant soul, Rishab. This story is a very, very beautiful story. It took a turn in the past recent few years when Rishab came out of his closet to declare himself as gay. This story is a powerful reminder that love and a supportive family can be an unyielding source of strength and acceptance. It's a Pride Month, and I'm extremely touched and I'm glad that we have the mother and son have agreed to be with us here and have a heart-to-heart talk with us and WiP about their story. Welcome, Seema. Welcome, Rishab. Seema, could you tell me something about yourself? I mean, I know you, but for the sake of our WiP members, maybe we could start with you first and then Rishab, telling us who you are.
Definitely. I'm very proud to say I am the mother of, Rishab and Ritik Nanda. That's my first identity. Professionally, I have, in Noida, I'm the director of Provado Spa Private Limited. I have two lovely brands called the Nomadic Spalon and Estetico, the facial bar.
Hi guys, my name is Rishab Nanda. I am 22 years old and I am a double major graduate from Delhi University. Primarily, I started working well before I actually graduated. I've worked with multiple big brands like Boxing, Nykaa, Kiehl's, Dyson, and a lot of things thanks to the pandemic, me working through college. And currently I'm working with an edtech platform and a fintech platform, both in the new industry, which is something I'm exploring. And I also work with a fashion brand called Sorry World. Other than that, I am a queer content creator where I just voice myself and my own opinions towards the world, which has been receiving a good traction in general these days. So
lovely to have both of you here. Welcome, welcome. We are here because it's a Pride Month, and I'm so happy that you're here. So let's dive into the most pertinent question, which women on the platform would love to know. When did you realize, Rishab? This is a sensitive question to you. So when did you realize that you were not associating with the gender that you were assigned with at?
See, for me, I see that the question is in the sense that I do assign to my gender in general. I am a male, but you know how society constructed that male has to fall in love with a female. So in the sense that there's always that's the conditioning, right? The only type of education that was there about being from the community, being from the LGBTQIA plus, is that it was a big taboo, right? It was looked down upon, was frowned upon. This was actually pre 377 when 377 was actually scrapped. This was before 2018 when it actually all got a little better. So at that point of time, how the situation was. All I was hearing was in the headlines is that बच्चे का मुंह काला कर दिया and घर से बाहर निकाल दिया just because that guy came up and told about it himself. So at that point of time, I was actually very scared. So I kind of had an inkling well around maybe class 9th, but then I kept telling myself no, it's wrong because of that whole entire societal pressure. But I think I had an idea around the age of 15-ish.
So when did you finally find the courage to come out to your family?
It's a little kind of like a journey, right? Where the realization came into it, but then you kept stomaching it down. You kept pushing it down and be like, no, it's not right. Maybe it's just a phase. Maybe this like that. We should fine. That led to me exploring more with girls and pushing myself towards girls and making a girlfriend, making 2 girlfriends, and it got so much so that I felt stuffed. I felt bottled up. I felt like I'm holding something within myself. I just couldn't speak freely. It was so much stress, so much that it was showing in my thing. I felt a little weak. My face was breaking out. I had so much stress. I was showing. So finally, I'm like, listen, I think I need to accept myself. At least I'm different. I'm not on the similar contraband as everyone else. Like I'm not like everyone else. I am a little different in general. So I think around the age of 15, I came up to my mother with all my little courage I had at that point of time, and I told my mom that, yeah, Mom, I'm gay. I think I'm gay. I think I'm gay.
But that must have been really tough on you. I mean, that
Very.
entire confusion and trying to conform to norms which people have specified has to associate with the specific gender. It's
Yeah.
really tough, and especially for a kid, your pre-teens, teens, it's extremely tough. Peer
Yeah.
pressure. Oh, that's another one. Peer pressure
Oh,
is
yeah.
big at that time.
Very, very. Friends are pushing you and be like, oh, teri girlfriend bani and all that. I'm like, oh, kaun si bandi patana, and all this kind of, it's weird to even talk about it to your own friends at a point in time. So it was there. Yes, peer pressure was also a part of it.
So, Seema, when did you realize that your son was a little different, or did you realize? And if you did you know that before he came out to you? When is it that you kind of realized he's your son? I know how close you all are. I know the kind of bonds you share. I've been there with you, so I know how you all are. So that's why I was like, this is something which comes to me. It must be something like mother's instinct.
When he was born, and even when my younger one was born, I could feel the vibe from the baby, and when he came out, he was very, very crisp, very clear. I was like, wow, this is like, he was like a leader, maybe a star. We sometimes psych ourselves, oh, this is what a star is born or a leader is born. I would always say that. And for me, it was the biggest turning moment of my life. Him being born was like, wow, now I have a rock star in the house. So, yeah, and touch wood, he was such a great kid throughout growing up. His mannerisms towards the teachers, and his teachers are so supportive in his school. I mean, I really credit his school for the way he's come out today. But then I started noticing when he was in class 9 is when I started noticing that he started, getting angry. There was little anger, and I thought maybe it's that teenage issue that he was facing. And then I'm a clinical cosmetologist, and I saw that he was breaking into acne, a lot of acne. Poor thing, he had a condition called keloids, and it is all stress related, hormones related, right? So I was just wondering, I was trying to put 1+1 together. I was just trying to check with his friends, is everything okay? And I kept talking to him as well. And one day he just comes to me and he says, I need to tell you something. He tells me, Ma, I don't think I'm, interested in girls. I like boys. I think I'm gay. So at that moment, trust me, everything shook. I was like, oh God, how do I handle this? I'm also growing up with him. I was a young mother, right? So I was growing with him, and all I told myself is like, calm down, Seema. Let's just, talk to him further. And then I told him, let's just take a break. Let's just explore more. Let's just understand more whether you're really towards that or not. Give yourself, don't tag yourself right now. Maybe you're not, maybe you are. So we'll cross the bridge when you come to a realization that you are, and then we'll take it forward. And for me as a mother, I mean, that one conversation, he felt a little better. But then the question came, how do I break it to my husband? And how do I break it to my in-laws who are from a very affluent background? I came in the evening, just quietly whispered into my husband's ears, and Rishab was in his other room. And my husband went quiet for 3 days. He didn't know, because we really didn't know how to handle all that. But then I realized that I need to take a stand. I need to take a stand. And one thing I was so proud of at that day also, that my son had a clear clarity. He was clear in his head as to what he is. And and I like people who are very straightforward, not beating around the bush. And he's like, this is me, and I was so proud, a kid having such a clear mind at that age. But then, when we told our in-laws, my mother-in-law and all, very well-read people, and they said, Seema, let's give it a try. Let's, give him space. Maybe he evolves out of it. And then gradually we realized over the years that he probably was right. He was happier. Trust me, Supriya, the moment I told him everything is all right, I did have a lot of battles to fight, lot of battles. I broke a lot of relationships because I did not allow any anybody talk bad about LGBTQ plus. I refuse to accept any stupid joke. I refuse to accept anybody in my circle who was belittling anyone, because if I don't stand up for my kid, they will crush. So I was very clear, and all I and my husband decided was we needed a happy kid. All he's saying is that he wants to be with a man and not with a woman. So it took little time for my husband. I probably understood that I need to take a stand for my son and stand by him, and he's never let me down. He's never let me down. So I think the moment you give the child a little bit of freedom, you see how they evolve.
I really, really loved it, Seema, the way you put it up on FB for the first time. And when I read it, it really warmed my heart. I was so happy. I was so happy that, see, I've seen that amazing chemistry that you and your son share. The kind of warmth and the kind of caring and the kind of understanding you'll have is really phenomenal. And I was really glad it translates to such a complex situation that you had in your lives. And the way you shared it, I loved it. So, what made you do that? What made you put it up on social media, not in any other way? And secondly, how did people respond to that post?
I lost my parents very early. I was just 25. I lost both my parents in a gap of 1 year. And had my parents been there, I could have shared my story or taken advice from my mom and dad. But then, I took advice. I confronted in a very close relative of mine, thinking that I would get the right advice. I treated that relative as my parent. And the moment I shared my story, please, this is what it is, and I'm accepting my child, and he's come out. The first person I shared with, she belittled me in front of the whole family. And that's when I realized how brutal the world can be. And I took a stand up and I wanted to tell the world that, there's nothing wrong. I always believe in this one particular quote that no snowflake ever falls in the wrong place.
Yes.
So when I was bringing them up, God gave certain encounters in my life. I met people who were going through that sadness of not being able to come out. They were married, they were having children, but they were so unhappy because they were probably trying to find a partner elsewhere. They just got married because of the pressure of the society. And I know how it feels. And I didn't want my child to be like that. And there are men who get married and then they get divorced because they didn't have the guts to come out. So I didn't want that. So the reasons I took the stand to come out on Facebook is to say, listen, it doesn't matter. I'm so proud. In fact, I feel blessed. Because one, I have children who have the guts to tell the whole world or tell me or tell the family members, Mom, don't have, this is me and I'm very happy. And trust me, Supriya, God gave him such lovely partners, his good partners. The boys who've come into his life, they're such well-read children, such well-mannered boys. I'm so happy to see his friends. So what else? And the way I wanted to put it on social media is like, to say it's okay even if you talk bad about us. It's okay, doesn't matter anymore. What matters is my child's happiness.
I'm proud of you for that. And I really think it's the most amazing thing you've done for yourself and for your son. Okay, so Rishab, when you first came out to your parents and your mother's reaction, and she told about the father's reaction, what was your feeling at that point of time to their reaction? And also, how did your peers and your community around you overall react to you? Because she faced her own battles. What about yours?
If a person has to come out, it's never first to their parents. Like, it's always to someone like a friend or to anyone else except their parents. But I thought, like, what will happen? But first person I actually went up and told, like I'll tell my mother, I want to see how she'd react first, and then maybe go forward with other people. First person I told was my mother, and instantly I just felt like the entire heaviness on my chest, the entire, the entire pressure of confining to a certain set wall of room just like went away. Like, okay, I feel a little freer in general. I can breathe now. Then slowly, like, there was always a thing where, my parents also showed me like, okay, it might be a phase. It's just a phase, try it out. Don't label yourself. And I'm like, okay, fine. Makes work. Maybe I can be bi, I can be gender fluid. I can, just be asexual in general. I don't have to confine to a specific gender. It was all a foreign, it's all foreign terminology in general, because at that point of time, 2015, this is when even you could have gay sex, you get what I mean, right? It was illegal, 377, right? So there was no proper education or literature about, how and what it can be. I started telling people who I thought, deserved to know, right? And soon after, I met with multiple mixed reactions. I had friends who loved it, very proud of me. Had friends who got, a little step back. I'm like, oh, bhai, thoda, like, chalo, theek hai. I had friends who just, take a step back and be like, acha, theek hai. So take a step back. But now today, honestly, they've evolved so much that I have one of the closest person at that point of time was the person who stepped back. So it's a journey, Some people, it's all because of the conditioning which was done in the past years, how our generation, Muske generation, then the generation after that has been told what's right, what's not wrong. And I'm also very proud of mom that she actually broke that barrier, that broke that, the entire thing for that next generation, she did not tell me like, no, it's wrong, so that I tell my next generation it's wrong. She broke it. She was told that it's wrong. She said, you know what? No, I don't find it wrong. I'm not gonna cage my children. I'm just gonna let them be what they want to be and like break that toxic, barrier in general. So I'm very proud of her for that. And I've had very supportive friends. I've had very supportive teachers. I've had very supportive people in my life in terms of mentors. So Shag Divakar is a very big, at that point of time, he was the person, the only voice in India. Then Ellen DeGeneres was the only good, outlet. I used to watch her show all the time because of, how proud and open she was about her relationship, about her marriage, and, how well she used to speak on the show, how she used to be like, be yourself, be kind to everyone, regardless of what they are, who they choose to love. So, honestly, I see myself no different than other people in the sense that I just chose to love a different gender. Otherwise, I'm just the same person, right? I'm still a human being. And I just chose to ignore the fact that, log kya kahenge. I just chose to like ignore that. Be like, I don't care what you think. I am what I am. If you like it, fine. I'm okay with that. If you don't like it, fine. I can do very well without you in my life. End of story.
That's really lovely. And I really like what you told when you started saying about when you told your friends, I chose to share this part of my life with them. So in this journey, you would have had some beautiful moments as well when you learned about yourself and, whether it's with Seema's acceptance. So do you want to share any incidents or some story about your life which you think, you still hold it very close to your heart because you found it extremely beautiful?
There's no specific grand a grand situation or grand story to tell. It's just like the journey. For me, the journey of me, my coming out, my mom being a little, skeptical, the incidents of her defying relatives. And if you want to be a part of a family, I'm fine. If you want to stay attached, fine. If you want to cut ties, it's fine. That. Then in general, me facing homophobia, facing bullying in general because of who I am, and then pushing it away. And then, small instances of, other parents coming up to my mom, or other people coming up to my mom and be like, listen, you must be so proud of your son. So that entire thing, all these kind of incidents and events just keep adding up and building up and make it a beautiful journey in general. It's not always happy, I'm not going to lie. There are always, bad repercussions. There's always bad turmoil. There have been times where, it causes such a big turmoil that is only you can think about, like that particular situation. But then there's always, like, once you go low, there's always a higher. Like there's always a road up ways to take. So it's not a specific event of such. It's like a culmination of multiple events that makes the journey so beautiful.
I get so many DMs. Supriya, saying, Auntie, I want to come out. I want to go and tell, what should I do? How should I do? And so many people writing, so many young kids, so many even, people in their 40s. I think this is not me. How do I go about it? And I'm scared to answer because I really don't know what situation they're in. But it's so beautiful that maybe people are getting strength to come out after having, after me having written on Facebook or, sharing my son's whatever reels or whatever he does openly, people feel fine. I mean, this is also possible. He's living it, so maybe I can give it a shot, because they take years, in fact, lifetime to come out. Times they don't come out.
So is there
there's always this thing where you just don't feel safe to come out, right? You don't know how people will react. Just coming past that is also very difficult. First thing is to just accept it yourself. Ki, "Theek hai, this is how it is. I have to break free from the society's expectations. I have to accept it myself first, and then maybe come and tell other people." The main thing is self-acceptance.
And people troll him at times, when people troll him on social media, when he puts a particular post or something.
She comes up to me like, "I'm so angry. Why are they doing it?" Comments. And for me, I'm like, listen, these are blank profiles with faceless people in some corner of the world just commenting their frustration out, because maybe they don't have the same acceptance that we do. So it's fine. Let them be. Don't have to engage with them.
But one more thing that I want to add here for all the mothers or fathers, whoever watching, it's okay. It's very easy. It looks very nice that, okay, I've accepted, but I keep a very close eye. I keep my eyes, ears, everything open on something which is not affecting my kid in this society, which is not accepting so clearly. I'm very, very vigilant on it. And I'm constantly keeping an eye so that he is not affected by, or he does, try to be vocal about it. But as parents, I mean, we should let them do, but also keep an eye, because our country will take a lot of time to, really accept it the way it has to be accepted. I think it'll take a lot of time for, us to actually evolve. Maybe
it's better, at least in tier 1 cities, metropolitan cities in Delhi, Bombay, and proper well-developed cities. But tier 2, tier 3 cities still have a lot. They're it's all a foreign concept to them. It's honestly a joke, right? I get comments saying that, yes, I support LGTV, HDQ plus. They make a joke out of it instead of, so there's always trolls, there's everything. And, it's just there, people still believe that, it's a disease. And they openly commented, yeah, it's a disease, find a cure,
Supriya, I lost relatives saying that, oh, it must be in her side of family. That isliye Rishab has come out like this.
It's her upbringing.
It's my upbringing. Maybe I'm in this industry, so he's like this. And they've had relatives or my cousins saying, oh, introducing me, oh, her son, he's a gay. It's crazy the kind of comments that people.
Bachche ko zyada choot de di isliye aisa ho gaya. It's like it's all the mother's fault.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
no, and even father's fault. The father should have been more strict.
Yeah.
I don't understand. How will it change a person's orientation?
No, it's fine. If people have to talk, they will talk. I mean, they have to talk, but you really have to care and don't really care what log kya kahenge. You really have to get past that. Once you're past that, you live your life the way you want.
I'm extremely happy that you'll have still been able to be brave in the face of all this and make sure that you stand your ground, Seema. That is the most amazing thing that you've done for your child. Okay, so I wanted to ask Seema, is there a message you would like to give to the parents who have children who are struggling with their identity?
I mean, imagine a small kid. A small kid has a turmoil going on inside him or her. He's just showing you reactions of getting angry or whatever, revolting or something. So just tell him it's fine, or her, it's fine. Ultimately, parents, we need happy children, whether they are a girl, boy, or, whatever. As a parent, if you start judging your child, what will happen when the child is out? Your inner circle, the inner circle is you, your partner, and your kids. That has to be the safest zone. So, sari dunya jaye, jahan pe bhi jana jaye, but it is your inner circle, you, your partner. Even if your partner is not supporting you, as a mother or as a father, whoever, whatever, connection you feel, you got them into this world. They need security. They need a validation. Okay, it's fine. And I'm glad if your kid is coming and telling you. What if a girl is wearing jeans and looking like a boy? It's fine. If a boy is behaving like a girl, fine. That's the way he is. Now I realize, after having grown myself, it's so hurtful. Let them live the way they want. It's very important to cut toxic people from your life who are pulling your family. Everybody, nobody wants to see you happy most of the time. People are very happy when you're unhappy. So just forget it. Take care of your kids. Take care of your inner circle and see them thrive. See them fly. See them go to places. And, they'll be able to share everything with you. The moment you stop it, the moment you don't even support anything, you lose your child. You want to give them freedom too, but then at the same time, you want to say, I'm standing behind your back, do what you want.
I've had a lot of friends whose parents are still not accepting till date. They tell the world, but they're not what their parents get. So they don't really openly, freely post about it, or, are very scared to go out. So instead of telling my friend I'm going with Harsh, I'm going with Harshali, there's always that thing. So for parents, I'll just be like, you really have to overcome and accept your child regardless. हमारे जनरेशन से आ रही जा रहा है, हमारे कल्चर्स में नहीं है, बट अब आ चुका है. Change is difficult. Literally accepting change is also even more difficult, and nobody likes it. But my dad was never accepting the first go. Like literally, he was never accepting. I think the only thing he ever said to me when when he got to know, he's like, "Be careful of HIV and AIDS." That's all he said to me. But over the years, he's just looked at me. He's seen, and he's kept quiet in general. He's not really had an opinion about it. And there are certain reservations. Okay, fine. If you want to wear makeup, or if you want to do something, fine, wear it outside, or like wear it, but just maybe not in front of me right now. I'm not that comfortable. At least he can voice his opinions about it. So parents can actually do that. Like have a safe space for the children.
So, my husband is a very kind-hearted, very loving father, very innocent, very nice person. So we went for a holiday and Rishab got his eyelash extensions done and he got his nails done. When he came to the airport like that, and he looked at me and I looked at him, I said, he's looking nice. I told him. And the moment when he started walking and when he started getting compliments from people, then he was like, yeah, my son, I'm so happy. So people change, fathers also change, and he loves his both Rishab and Pratik a lot, and I think he's accepted now, and yet he's very careful on his happiness, and he keeps a tab on how he's feeling and everything. That is what parents need to do. That's it.
Your child is your priority. Your family is your support system. So I'm very glad that you all really stand for it. So Rishab, would you want to give a message to the members of LGBTQIA plus community, especially those who are struggling with their identities even now?
Regardless of what you represent, what sexuality you are, what your gender identity is, if you are even on the entire band of the queer spectrum, if you whatever you choose to identify, it is okay. Fine, you don't have to tell people. You can take your time, but at least accept it yourself. If you live in denial, you'll be hurting yourself in general. You'll be a lot more bottled up. You'll be unhappy. You first need to love yourself so much that, outsiders' love doesn't matter so much. If it's there, it's fine. Love it. But if you don't love yourself, nobody else's love matters. Okay, if you don't feel comfortable telling your parents, slowly, inculcate, watch movies together with them which have characters in them, and maybe you can judge your reaction and see how they react to that specific character, and just generally have a conversation about it, talk about it, have a talk about it with them. Movie like Shubh Mangal Sabnan, or like watch a movie with prominent gay characters around them and see how they react to that.
Netflix has been an eye-opener. It has helped so many families. The beautiful series that people have, the hurdles and the emotions that these boys and girls go through. I mean, that's been an eye-opener. Earlier, it used to be hush, hush, hush. I'm so proud of the way Netflix has taken on, or maybe the movies have taken on. That's the right way.
What's the secret of your happiness? This is a surprise question for both of you.
My happiness is the job that I do. I'm happy that I love doing what I do. I think I check mark. My work is amazing. My family is taken care of. I've had a lovely holiday. I speak my mind. I think I speak my mind. That makes me happy, whether someone likes it or not. And I have a lot of gratitude in life.
For me, the secret of my happiness is just being free and being myself. I like being myself the way I am, and when I just get to do that freely, like if I want to wear makeup, if I can wear makeup. If I want to get my nails painted, I can get my nails painted. If I want to wear heels, I can wear that. Me just simply being able to do that without any hindrance is the secret of my happiness. Like I can do things without worrying about what other people say. That gives me happiness. I can voice my opinions. I can, speak freely. I have friends that are supportive. I have communities that are supportive. I've had a lot of good reactions. I got my first walking out opportunity for a big designer right now. And I walked in a ghagra and a choli and a skirt right on front of stage in 6-inch heels, and people loved it. And I was like, it's just, a lot of these things where people just accept you the way that you are. It really brings up my happiness.
I'm really proud of you, Rishab. Extremely proud of you to see you the way you've turned out. And I'm extremely glad that you're able to bring out your style the way you have to bring it out. Very,
Yes.
very happy for both of you. I'm so happy that you all both took time to make sure that you're like here and spend so much time with us. And, have this conversation with us. It's warmed my heart, and hugs to both of you, like big hugs.
Hugs to you too, and thank you so much for having us, Supriya, in such a lovely platform. I really love what you all are doing, and way to go, really. Thank you so much for calling us today.
More power to you all.
Yeah.
Thank you. More power to you too.